cinemas, Cosmococa 5, Hendrix War, 1973. Carter de Carvalho, Portuguese for horseface, was only 22 years old when they shot him dead in a shower of over 100 bullets. His body was then covered with a sort of flag with a skull and 2 shin bones, the symbol of the death squads. Carter de Carvalho was a friend of Elio Oiticica's and also a friend of many people in the favelas of Rio. Elio Oiticica said that apart from their personal friendship, Carter de Carvalho represented for him an ethical moment. He was a symbol of the individual rebellion against a system of repression and oppression. He was the bandit. Crime is, like art, a desperate search for happiness and completeness, a defiance of the destiny embossed upon someone by society. In those lights, the artist is a criminal as well, of sorts. Someone who must take distance from their expected audience of correct leftists and compassionate right-wingers. Someone who has to push the limits of the audience's paternalist tolerance towards what cannot be tolerated anymore. Audiences are tolerant with artists, to a point anyway, and this tolerance irritates artists. "I don't want any break in the world, I want justice," said Lenny Bruce to the judge. Justice. That word was probably in Oiticica's mind when he made the box Biennale 18 in 1966, a homage to horseface. Elio Oiticica wrote about this work. This homage reflects upon individual rebellion against social conditions. Violence is legitimate as a means of revolt, but never as a means of oppression. Box Biennale 18, which is not exhibited in the Biennale, contains several images of the outlaw's corpse and a sealed bag filled with the red soil of Brazil, bearing a text that reads, "Aqui está e ficará, contemplai seu silencio heroico." Here he is and will remain, contemplate his heroic silence. A 1968 concert in Rio featuring Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil and the radical group Os Mutantes was censored by the authorities because of the inclusion of a banner made by Oiticica reading, "Be an outlaw, be a hero." Subsequently, Veloso and Gil went into exile in London. The banner bore an image of the shot-down corpse of Carter de Carvalho. Waiting for the musicians in London was Oiticica himself, who was preparing for an exhibition at the Whitechapel Gallery. From there he went to New York with a Guggenheim Fellowship. Although a well-established artist, Oiticica had a lot of difficulty surviving in the New York art circuit, and whether out of necessity or out of conviction, he decided to abandon the art world and go underground. There he lived from translation work, and according to some sources, he sold cocaine. Now this brings us to the story of the Cosmococas. The Cosmococas were invented when Elio Oiticica was sniffing cocaine in his New York apartment and using as a surface for the spreading of the lines a record by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Curiously, this group shared the stage with Lenny Bruce in his last performance, which was organised by Phil Spector in 1966. In any case, the beauty of the pattern made by the lines of cocaine on the record sleeve suddenly struck Oiticica. The Cosmococas were then created together with film director Neville Dalmader. Dalmader embellished the bodies and faces of the original printed images, the portraits of Monroe, Hendrix, Brunewell and others, with generous tracings of cocaine. Oiticica then took the pictures and treated the cocaine as pigment, so therefore the drawings are literally drawings. The cocaine medium progressively vanished from the surfaces, presumably by being snorted, and is therefore regarded by Oiticica as a radical expression of the dematerialisation of the object of art. And that was already a widely shared concern of the art world at the time. However sublimated, the substance Oiticica had chosen as his transgressive medium remained illegal. And consequently, the Cosmococas languished virtually unknown until the advent of an important touring catalogue and exhibition in 1992. But even in their first public show, the Cosmococas, the word cocaine was nowhere to be found. The Cosmococas were a logical outcome of previous works by Oiticica celebrating pleasure and leisure. As is the case with the Gore, Oiticica considered pleasure, leisure and creative indolence as forms of political stance, of resistance. But the Cosmococas were also part of Oiticica's darker desire to disappear, to go underground, to become a poe mordi. As in his homage to in his homage to Cara Di Cavallo, Oitashika vindicated the marginal position as the only honest one. Criminals and loafers, as Du Bois says, were the only ones in the position of starting a revolution, of resisting and hitting where it hurt the most. In his writings, Oitashika made fun of the figure of the artist as mainstream audiences understood it, as a sweaty, heterosexual male dying to see his work hanging in museums. To this figure, Oitashika opposed the bandit, the addict, the idler, the sexually complex underground hero. Now please feel free to have a look inside, otherwise we'll just keep on moving to the last work, the tour. The great men we have discussed so far in this short guided tour paid for their insults to the audience. Lenny Bruce committed suicide or died of an overdose, it's unclear, in 1966. Guy Debord shot himself when alcoholism made his life hell, and Oitashika died of a stroke when he was only 43 years old. Chris Burden's 1973 performance 747 at about 8 AM at a beach near the Los Angeles International Airport, I fired several shots with a pistol at a Boeing 747, seems to revive the poet Andre Breton's definition of the simplest surrealist act in his second manifesto of surrealism, that being going into the street, revolver in hand, and shooting at random into the crowd. Although 747 is not exhibited again at this Biennale, I'd like to end this tour by paying my respects to Kunstkick, another performance by Chris Burden from 1974. The performance consists of the artist being kicked down the stairs of the Basel Art Fair 2 or 3 steps at a time. And that ends this tour of What a Fucking Wonderful Audience. Thank you very much for joining me, and what a fucking wonderful audience. Thank you.